This is the Hope Not Note podcast,
where we answer your questions and share inspirational stories to fill your soul with hope.
Our mission is to empower hope to those who have been plagued by nope.
I'm Dr. Dylan Caswell.
And I'm Brandy.
And we're here to bring you out of the nope and into hope.
Welcome to the Hope Not Note podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week's question is from a listener named Sam. And Sam says, I really enjoyed your podcast on when to use caffeine for workouts. And I'm wondering if you have any tips or strategies for decreasing overall caffeine intake. First, I want to say thanks, Sam, for listening to our podcast. And we remember that podcast episode very well. And so I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And hopefully this episode can serve you. When in doubt, you can just stop drinking caffeine cold turkey.
Yeah.
But that's probably not the route you want to take. So we will give you some other tips as well.
Yeah, it's funny because the other podcast was focused on how to use caffeine for performance.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times athletes aren't even considering that aspect of it, of like, oh, this can be used for performance. So it's like, here's a protocol for this. This is a question we get quite often from athletes of how do I decrease my overall caffeine intake because I'm getting too jittery, my performance is starting to be affected, I'm not able to sleep well, I feel anxious all the time, my heart is just pounding in my chest and I feel like I'm getting heart palpitations. Like I need to decrease my overall intake. And I love the question because it's like, I want to decrease it. I don't want to get rid of it. I want to decrease it. And I learned that with a special warfare officer who asked a very similar question. And that was the first thing that we talked about. He's like, look, I don't want to get rid of it. Like, I want to be clear. I want the caffeine in my life. I just want to overall decrease the amount that I'm consuming in a day.
Fair enough.
So that's what we'll focus on, is not the performance aspect of it, but how do you decrease the overall intake because you feel like you're taking in too much?
Right.
And in this too, we have to make a couple assumptions, but we'll try not to as much. But, you know, where's the caffeine coming from, right? Is it energy drinks? Is it coffee? Because kind of the tips that we're going to go through will be dependent on where is that source coming from, but it can be extrapolated to other sources as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sound fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right. So obviously the most practical strategy is to just drink less, right? Like switch to decaf and mix that in with your caffeine. So then you're getting kind of a mix of it. But I will say it's hard to find if it's a coffee, it's hard to find a decaf coffee that tastes similar to how good that caffeinated cup of coffee tastes like. So generally that strategy doesn't go super well. So we'll touch on other strategies. One is that you have to recognize that the caffeine consumption over time has become a habit. And habits are harder to continue to partake in if there are barriers to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at the barriers, what would be the barrier for coffee? Make a half pot versus a full pot, right? Because if you make a full pot of coffee, it opens the invite to go and put more into your cup because it's already made. If you make a half pot, you have your cup or 2 cups or however many cups you want to have in the morning or whenever, and now in order to have more, you have to make more coffee. There's a barrier there. Mm-hmm. And with that barrier, one, it reminds you that, oh, yeah, I'm going for more. And it asks that question, that reflection question of like, well, do I actually need this right now? Or am I just doing it out of habit? Mm-hmm. So that barrier not only like makes it harder for you to do it, but it also gives you that moment to pause and ask, why am I going for this? So create the barrier, make a half cup or half pot versus a full pot of coffee. Energy drinks, cheaper to buy them in bulk, right? Costco, BJ's, these other stores, it's like, it makes it like, even a gas station, the deal is like 2 for $4. Why would you not buy 2 for $4 instead of spending 1 that's $3? Like it makes complete financial sense to buy them in bulk.
That's where they get you.
That's where they get you. But create the barrier, right? So like a lot of people I know, they don't like warm energy drinks or room temperature energy drinks. So you buy them in bulk, don't put them all in the fridge. Just
Hmm.
put one in the fridge. Or how many do you want to have that week? Put that amount into the fridge, and that's what you're allowed for that week.
Hmm.
So creating the barrier, and that goes into the next tip. So first tip, create barrier. Second tip is to predetermine what your intake is going to be or what your limit is going to be. Our brain works by prediction. It's something we talk about all the time on our podcast. Any of our resources, we talk about how the brain works by prediction. In the book, we talk about how the brain works by prediction called the Bayesian prediction model. Our brain works by prediction, and it works by having an input that then creates an output that we become conditioned to. So we have to break that cycle in there. And part of it is becoming aware of it, like part of self-agency. Are you aware of what's triggering you into going to get that extra caffeine intake? Setting the limit will now start to inhibit that of I want that second energy drink today, but I'm only allowed three this week because that's the rule.
Hmm.
And I set the rule, so I need to follow the rule. So do I really need to have two in the same day? Maybe. But then you only get one energy drink left for the rest of the week. So whatever that limit is for you, like preset that, and then you have to stay disciplined to that amount.
Hmm.
So predetermine what you want your limit to be, and then stay with that limit. I'm going to switch gears back to coffee because this wouldn't really work for like energy drink, but like coffee or tea. Um, in my opinion, like nothing beats the hot cup of coffee in a mug,
You
right?
love
I
mugs.
love mugs, and I
Yeah.
like sometimes I forget the name of the mug. So like if we go to a coffee shop, I'll be like, "Can I have it in one of those like for here cups?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Do you mean a mug?" Yeah, that one. Like, that one, please. Hot liquid in that. It's nice and cozy. So in my opinion, nothing beats that like warm cup of coffee in a mug, the steam coming out of it,
Hmm.
and like I love that. So like what I would recommend to people is that if it's coffee or tea, like start your day with it in the mug and like have your first cup of coffee in the mug. Then switch to an insulated mug for the rest of the day, whether it's a Yeti, a thermos, whatever insulated mug that you have, use that the rest of the day. Why? Because if you continue to use the mug through the day, and you've made that big pot of coffee. Oh, it's getting cold. What do you do? Oh, let me splash it off.
Hmm.
Oh, you drink it, it gets down to that same level. Oh, it's cold again. Oh, let me go splash this off. Oh, well, the liquid's in the cup, so I might as well just finish it. So you end up having a lot more coffee than you intended because you're using that splash off method to keep it warm. So if you can keep it in the mug and you have that preset amount, now, even if you pour that amount into a mug, it's preset that that is the limit that you're
Hmm.
going to be having. Or you keep it in the thermos and then it stays warm and you can kind of sip on it throughout the day. So now instead of getting one massive intake of caffeine, you have it spaced out throughout the day that can help you perform whether it's work or working out.
Hmm.
So that would be another tip of yes, nothing beats that hot cup of coffee in a mug, but at some point switch it so that
Hmm.
you're not continuously topping it off. Think about how much more coffee you have when you go to a diner,
Yeah, that's so
right?
true.
Because walking around, two pots of hot coffee, like, oh, that's not full. Oh,
Hmm.
that's not full. They're like Jedi masters of this thing, like other side of the restaurant. Oh, you're getting limited. Wham, there's some more coffee.
Yeah.
It is wild how impressive they are
Yeah.
at recognizing that cup's not full. Let me go top it off. But it's the same thing if you're in the office and you have access to a coffee pot. If you're working from home, you have access to the coffee pot. It's just that consistent topping off that
Hmm.
adds up to a lot more intake of caffeine.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if doing like a Keurig or I think it's like an espresso machine,
Mm,
if those are better or if they're worse. Because if you have a pot of coffee, say you could make a 12 pot, but you make a six sip, you could make a 12 cup pot, but you make a 6 cup pot, then you're limiting yourself to the six.
yeah,
But if you have a Keurig and you just do the pods or the Nespresso machine and you just do the pods, then you could go back like so much more often.
right.
What we found is like we don't really care for the pods
No.
anyways when it comes to Keurig. Nespresso I've heard is really great.
Hmm.
But regardless, like there's a difference between having a single serving drink and a pot that you can keep splashing off. And I think there's pros and cons to both,
Yeah.
but figure out whatever you have access to, how can you really limit that
Hmm.
temptation?
Yeah. Yep. Yep, for sure. Maybe have an accountability buddy. It's
Hmm.
like, all right, do you need that extra? Do you need more? But yes. And then moving into the next tip that kind of goes along with all of this is it being used for comfort? Like oftentimes, like a warm liquid, like think of it, it's snowing outside. It's not right now, but if it's snowing outside, it's like, oh, I want to sit here with like hot coffee or hot cocoa
Hmm.
and just like sip on it, watching the snowfall. Like, doesn't that just sound comforting,
Magical.
magical? Like, like you're an adult, you're an athlete, you have
Hmm.
responsibilities, there's a lot of stress. And yes, like we're not saying seek comfort. But I think it's like it goes back to the world becoming very dogmatic of like you must be uncomfortable all the time.
All right, calm down.
There's no comfort anywhere. Like, no, you're going in and doing a lot of high strain activities.
Hmm.
Go ahead and have that comfort cup of coffee
Right.
in the morning. Like if that's the thing, like I think of Coach Saban who every morning would have oatmeal cream pies and coffee.
My guy.
Like that was the thing that he was like looking forward to in
Hmm.
the morning. And I'll admit I've had times uh so far in life that I've been like, you know what? I'm done with coffee. I'm not doing it. And then I'm like, I just want a special drink in the morning. I just
Yeah.
want a special drink to like get the day
You
going.
love like looking forward to that when you get
Look,
out of bed.
yeah, and it's not like because I don't look forward to the rest of the day, but like there are times that I go to bed at night and I'm like, yes, I get to go to sleep because I get to get up in the morning, have a delicious cup of coffee,
Yeah.
and then go do the work that I love. Like,
I feel that especially when I know I'm going to a coffee shop.
yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, I get to go to the coffee shop and I start thinking of what type of latte I'm going to get or something like that, which makes me think too, and we kind of mentioned this, but if you're a coffee shop goer, I would just challenge you to, if you get lattes, I would challenge you to get like a half calf rather than
Mhm.
a full calf. Like little things like that, go a long way.
Yeah.
At least for me, they do. And again, I think like if you get the half calf, but you're telling yourself it's the full calf, that's when you're kind of like trying to trick your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's still caffeine in it. I'm fine.
Yes. And don't try to order a half calf outside of the United States.
Oh yeah, not gonna work. At least it didn't work in Italy. They were very confused.
Yeah.
They were even confused by decaf when we
Yeah.
were in Italy.
Decaffeinato coffee. There's
Yeah.
no in between.
No.
You get one or the other. There's no half and half
Yeah.
of this. So, yeah. Um, but is it being used for comfort? That's something that you need to consider through the rest of your day. Again, have that thing that you look forward to, waking up or whatever point in the day it is for you of that like cup of coffee or energy drink. But it's okay to have that exciting thing
Hmm.
in there. Just start to recognize is it becoming a pattern that
Hmm.
like, oh, every week I have a stressful meeting and going to the stressful meeting, this cup of coffee is my comfort.
Yeah.
Or I have multiple meetings and every meeting I need to have coffee because it's a high intensity based meeting and
Hmm.
I'm anxious. So I'm having this coffee to give me comfort, but in reality, the caffeine's making me more anxious. So
Right.
now you're kind of like throwing gas on the fire
Yeah.
with that. So there's other ways that you can look to find comfort in those stressful
Hmm.
situations.
Well, and then even if it's not the warmth of the comfort, it's just like a fun drink liquid.
Yeah.
Um, why not get some lemon water? Or we've been on a kick of the true lemon packets, but they
Mhm.
make strawberry lemonade flavors or they make, pomegranate flavors, like little things like that that
Yeah.
don't necessarily have caffeine. Some of them do. But like putting that into your water is still a comfort. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily the warm comfort, but it's a comfort that can help you get through the afternoon. I'm a big advocate for fun drinks in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I would say too, if you're not in that example of like you going into a meeting or stressful situation and there's a lot of strain around that, I would ask the question like how prepared are you for that meeting?
Hmm.
How certain are you in your purpose and in your mission of what you're supposed to be doing? Like there's always going to be strain and stress around it. And that's something I'll put out there too, is like I feel like we're kind of moving into this thought landscape that like work isn't supposed to be hard, that it's like supposed to be relaxing all the time, and there's supposed to be massages all the time, and there's supposed to be like walking breaks every half hour, and you're meant to be in a flow state the entire day. And I'm not saying that stuff isn't great,
Mm-hmm.
but like the reality is like that can't be every single day
Yeah.
at work. Like if you're doing something that is very purposeful that you're on fire about, there's going to be the ups and the downs. It's not going to be this smooth, like, oh, I'm always at peace in what I do. And the reason I say that is looking at the stories of some of the saints in the Catholic Church of like Mother Teresa and like, wow, she was very purposeful. She knew her mission. It didn't mean that she wasn't stressed
Mm-hmm.
during it. Like she fought a lot of that.
Yeah.
And it's just part of the territory and it's meant to be there. It's meant to help shape us. It's meant to help form us. And we shouldn't, again, we don't want to say you should be looking for discomfort all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but also we shouldn't be looking for comfort all the
Yeah.
time, right? We got to live somewhere in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of that because that is what that's how we're supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
living. So I think looking at the other reasons as to why you may feel uncomfortable and why you feel like you need this warm liquid to feel comfortable if it's being used in meetings and working
Mm-hmm.
environments and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think too, it's an opportunity for self-agency and just self-awareness in general
Mhm.
to kind of ask yourself where you're at in that line. Like, do you seek more comfort or do you seek more discomfort? And how can you balance, one direction or the other? Because I know there's been times in my life where I was in a situation where there was discomfort all the time. It was like time to get uncomfortable like every single day. And so having like a fun drink was really helpful in that
Yeah.
environment because it gave me a little bit of like almost like self-agency of like, okay, I can have control in this just by like the drink that I have because I know there's going to be some like uncomfortability
Hmm.
coming out. But then there's times where like I want to work, I'm working from home and I want to sit on the couch every single day and it's like, okay, let's pivot. You're
Yeah.
like leaning a little bit too much into comfortable. Let's go in this different direction. So having the ability to have that like self-awareness and self-agency in that to assess like where you're at in that and
Hmm.
how what you're drinking is affecting that as well.
Yeah. No, great point. And then the last thing that we'll bring up for this is, are you drinking it for energy?
Right.
Right? Like that's
Simply put.
the biggest thing of like, hey, I know what you're saying and comfort and discomfort. Yeah, great. Like hot mugs, awesome. Love those. Um, dude, I just gotta get through my day.
Yeah.
Like I got a lot of stuff I gotta get done and like I need that boost in order to do it. And like I hear you. Like I get it. But we also need to look a little bit at the science of caffeine because caffeine does not give you more energy. It blocks a molecule called adenosine from binding to its receptor site. And the reason it does that is because they have a similar chemical makeup. So caffeine is able to fit into the receptor that adenosine would go into. Adenosine is a fatigue-related molecule. The more adenosine that binds, the more that we start to feel tired,
Mm.
like we need to get ready for sleep and we want to go take a nap or whatever it may be. But adenosine binding is partially what helps that. And there's other hormones that are at play as well. But caffeine specifically blocks the adenosine. It doesn't get rid of it. Like the adenosine stays there. It doesn't get rid of it. So when the caffeine wears off, guess what happens? That adenosine says, "Ooh, binding site's available."
My turn.
Boom, 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 and then all of a sudden we crash,
Mm.
right? So we have to understand that caffeine is not giving you more energy. It is blocking adenosine from binding into that site, and that makes you feel more alert. It makes you feel more awake. But if you don't do other things to clear the adenosine, you're going to get those crashes. And you
Hmm.
get those crashes so your brain works by prediction, it works by conditioning, and it goes, okay, the behavior I desire is alert and being awake. What have I done before that allows that to happen? Oh, I know. Energy drink, coffee, whatever it may be. That is my solution. Go get that. That'll clear this and I'll be good. 3 hours later, crash. Okay. What did I do before that helped me get out of this? Oh, I know
Mm.
that. And then it becomes conditioned to it. So we have to look at what are the other things that can allow you to have more energy and help to clear the adenosine out of there. That's not just caffeine blocking it.
Mm.
And those things are the classic looking at light because when your brain, the receptors start to see light, they go, oh, get adenosine out of there because we don't need to be tired because light's awake. And that's partly why, like working third shift or nighttime workers getting back at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and then trying to go to sleep is difficult because now they're driving in light and their brain's going, oh, it's
Mm,
time to be awake. No, you've been awake all night. Now it's time for you to go to bed. So
mm,
now we got to get you into a darker room where there's not light so that your brain starts going the other way
mm.
with it and back to rest. Other ways to clear adenosine, um, quick body weight workout, a quick high intensity interval based training. Doesn't need to be with weights, doesn't need to be anything super specific. One athlete that we work with who's an incredible golfer, halfway through his day, he'll get out of his desk and do a quick 5 minute hit workout.
Mm.
It's jumping jacks, modified push-ups, mountain climbers.
Wow.
Just 2 to 3 rounds, depending on the day of how he's feeling, 2 to 3 rounds, and he's doing about 10 to 15 reps
Mm.
of each of them. It's something quick
Just quick. I feel
and
like that's less than 5 minutes.
less than 5 minutes, and what it does is it prevents him from going, oh, I need that afternoon cup of coffee or that second afternoon cup of coffee.
Hmm.
It gives that quick little hit, clears some of the adenosine out. Now, when the caffeine's wearing off, the adenosine has also been cleared, so now you don't get that crash.
Yeah. I remember giving the advice once of like if you need to go fill up your coffee, why don't you go fill up your water, but on the way do lunges the entire way to like the water fountain or
Yeah.
something like that. I think that little things like that, it just helps to get you moving.
Yeah. Yeah. And getting the blood pumping around, one, it's good. You feel empowered.
Hmm.
You feel like you did something positive in
Yeah.
that day. Not that the work you're doing isn't positive, but you're like, I did something positive for my health because I did some movement.
Hmm.
And like, again, decrease the barrier to entry. Don't have to be in a gym to do a quick 5 minute hit interval
Yeah.
just to get your heart rate up, get blood flowing, clear adenosine out. And then the last step would be in this for clearing adenosine is getting good sleep,
Yeah.
getting high quality sleep that helps your body to regulate, helps it to heal, helps it to recover so that when you wake up, you don't have a huge accumulation of adenosine,
Mm.
right? And the more that you're training, the harder that you're working, the more adenosine is accumulating throughout the day,
Mm.
right? So then if you're not sleeping and getting that cleared out and you wake up and you have another hard training day, you can see the cycle that's going to evolve that you're going to be crashing all the time and
Hmm.
need that extra caffeine boost to get you feeling like you can keep going. We also need to look and say, hey, what is your sleep? Like, do you have to play Call of Duty until 1 in the morning?
Right.
Or like, can you cut it at like 10 o'clock
Yeah.
and get a little bit better sleep? Because that's going to go such a long way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope
Good.
stories?
So let's summarize
All right,
that up.
little recap.
So recap, create barriers.
Hmm.
Um, Nothing beats hot coffee in a mug,
Hmm.
but start in the mug and then maybe switch to a thermos so that you're not constantly going for like a top off and then you have that preset limit, which is tip number three. Predetermine how much caffeine you're going to be intaking for that day, for that week. Next tip, ask yourself, is it being used for comfort? And if it is, like, that's okay, a little bit, but is it being used too much for comfort?
Hmm.
Time to turn that dial down. And is it being used specifically for energy? And
Hmm.
if that's the case, start asking, how else can I improve my energy? And if I want to use it for performance and energy, listen to the previous podcast on how to properly use it
Hmm.
so you're not slugging an energy drink while you're working out for the energy to then hit or the effects of it to hit after you're done working out.
Right.
So,
And I'll in the show notes below, I will tag the previous podcast episode as well in case that is you and you want to learn more about
absolutely.
that.
And if you're questioning, like, how do I improve my sleep performance tips, we do have a free resource on the website that you can go to. Same one that we use with the special warfare officers on how to improve sleep quality,
Hmm.
and then what you can use if sleep quality just kind of stinks that night before, strategies through the next day that you can use to help offset that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. That'll be in the show notes as well. You said it's on the
Yeah.
website, which it is, but make it easier for y'all.
Ah, less clicks. Let's go.
Hope story time?
Oh, absolutely. What do you got?
All right. My hope story, I had a few teed up. I have a couple in mind, but then as we were going, I was like, oh, coffee. What's the hope story about coffee?
Mm.
And I think the simplest one is earlier in the summer was my birthday,
Mhm.
and my best friend moved last summer right before my birthday, and her and I used to get coffee once a week together. And so this year for my birthday, she had one of our other friends go to our favorite coffee shop and get me a little gift card for that coffee shop, which I thought was so nice because I just like, one, it's the best coffee shop that we have around here, but two, it just reminded me of like, oh, remember when I used to get coffee with her every single week when she lived in town? And we still chat and talk on a regular basis, but just little things like that. So want to encourage our listeners that if you have a friend that you moved away from or it's your friend's birthday, like sometimes it's just nice to get a little present. So whether you want to get a gift card to a local coffee shop or you want to bring your coworker coffee, like doing a little surprise thing goes a long way for people. And so I just want to give you a little encouragement to maybe do that this week.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you for your question, and thank you for everyone that's listening. Have a great week, and remember, every day is not just a day to be hopeful, but an opportunity to become hope.
The Hope Not Know podcast is meant for educational, informational, and personal development purposes only and does not constitute any health or medical advice. If you're looking for specific advice, connect with us to work with a Hope coach. The Hope Not Know podcast shall not be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestions in this podcast.